All right, only one segment left, so we got to run through some of these stories rather quickly. The big Russian story and the big Euro story, the British break. The city of London says the continent is isolated. The Iranian drone incident shows capabilities of Iran, which are impressive. If it was brought down by cyber methods, this drone, that is important. We're told that the U.S. was so freaked out that they considered an armed incursion into Iran to try to recapture the drone. Almost a Desert One redux, a repeat performance of Carter's abortive debacle, attempting to free the hostages in the spring of 1980. We're told that today the Israelis are bombing Gaza again. The Israelis claiming that a Grad missile was fired at them by Hamas. And again, if you don't want war, then make peace. Make a two-state solution, because otherwise the military methods used by the Israelis, their air superiority tank warfare, these are now obsolete. These are gone. So the next large-scale exchange, if it comes, which I hope it doesn't, may reveal weaknesses where the Israelis have nothing to fall back on but the escalation to the nuclear level. Now, Syria, let's give a well done to President Assad of Syria, going on television with this old battle axe, Barbara Walters, age 82, and still filled with all of the prejudices of her profession. I think Assad did a good job for Syria. He certainly helped himself with this appearance. I think the Syrian authorities would be well advised to put him on the air more. Remember, he's not Gaddafi, he's not Mubarak, he's not Saddam Hussein. It's hard to demonize a guy like President Assad of Syria, right? He's a humanitarian, he's an eye doctor, he speaks good English, lived in London. He knows how to do this. He did mention that the attack on Syria includes Al-Qaeda and that there were groups of killers, right? I'd like to hear the words death squads, because I think that would sum it up in a very important way. But in the meantime, it seems to me that this has created some problems for the Anglo-Americans. The important thing is be on the offensive, get out there, make your case, let the Western European, U.S. populations, other places around the world, let them see you. Get out there. You can only help yourself. And remember, either you define yourself or somebody else will define you. Now, Hillary is cavorting with these terrorists in Turkey, right? The Syrian National Council, which includes the Muslim Brotherhood, who call for a Turkish invasion of their country, and the Free Syrian Army. The Free Syrian Army is a gaggle of Chechens, Afghans, criminals, draft dodgers, embezzlers, people with Interpol warrants, drug pushers. They're from Libya, recycled. They're from Iraq, recycled out of there. The entire patsy milieu of the Middle East, the entire Al-Qaeda and so forth. There's now a standing invitation from the CIA, patsies of the world, come to southern Turkey, come to Syria, and we will get you busy killing members of the Syrian army. This is this guy Galyoun. We would need an intelligence job on Galyoun, and his main rival, Khaddam, the infamous renegade. National Public Radio this morning summed up the problems of the attempt to destabilize Syria. The rebels do not hold any territory. Yeah, good, because there are not enough of them. There are a few thousand at the very, very most, probably less. The rebels do not hold territory. The Syrian military is loyal to the government, and the opposition is split. You've got this Syrian National Council with Galyoun, you've got this assistance group with Khaddam, and you've got other groups. So they are split, and they have no political program. They don't hold territory. So on the whole, not looking good. Plus, Syria has international support, Russia and China, and that Russian fleet is now in the eastern Mediterranean, the Admiral Kuznetsov, the Moskva, the nuclear submarines, nobody knows how many, watch out, and other anti-submarine warfare and other ships. So for the moment, that's holding. Again, President Assad would be well advised to get out there and make his case more and more energetically. Pakistan, the anti-U.S. agitation is now continuous. The U.S. is now playing, in addition to the cards that we've talked about, the idea of splitting Pakistan according to Sindh, Punjab, Baluchistan, Waziristan, tribal areas, and so forth, is now also to play the Sunni versus Shiite card. There was a rather large car bomb, I believe, this week that killed mainly Shiites, and this is now an attempt on the occasion of the Shiite holiday to try to begin splitting Pakistan that way too. It's something new. It's a desperate CIA countermeasure against the fact that Pakistan has closed the land corridor. There was this conference on Afghanistan in Bonn this week, or in Berlin, and it was boycotted by the Pakistani government. Since President Zardari went abroad for some kind of medical treatment, there are rumors of a coup. Well, what does Pakistan need? They need Nasserist, nationalist colonels, just the way Egypt does. Not Kayani, not somebody who's compromised himself by dealing with the U.S., but Nasserist, nationalist colonels. And if they emerge, that will be a good thing for the world. Now, the big story here in the United States, Bonapartism, right? We've talked about Bonapartism, the Bonapartism of Petraeus, waiting in the wings to seize the Republican campaign for president. And we've talked about the Bonapartism of the 12 tyrants, which has been, at least for the moment, neutralized. But now we have Governor Snyder of Michigan. His Bonapartism is that he is taking over, as governor of Michigan, he has taken over Benton Harbor, he's taking over Flint, he's taking over a whole bunch of cities where he runs them top down. He puts them under the control of dictators. He throws out the mayor, throws out the city council. He takes advantage of the Depression to impose, well, this is pretty much what happened under Brüning, right? This is the, or better yet, it's the coup d'etat in Prussia of July 1932, right after Brüning. And this was something that immediately paved the way for National Socialism in the following year. But Snyder is now going wild as dictator. And one wonders, is there a president here? Is there somebody in the White House calling himself president? How about sending in some U.S. Marshals? How about sending in the Attorney General, if he can tear himself away from defending his gun-running program? Get him out there. Put a stop to Snyder. This is going to be a big story. This is now more fascist than Walker in Wisconsin, Snyder of Michigan. And this is the guy who raises taxes on the poor. He departs from the Republican orthodoxy in that sense. All right, Ron Paul has now turned his $1 trillion of cuts into a television ad. It's a campaign ad that Ron Paul is putting up. $1 trillion of savage, brutal, genocidal austerity cuts. And I'm sorry, this is too much. A lot of people have a lot of illusions about Ron Paul. It's too late for this now. Since he came out with that economic program, this has now gone into a new dimension. I'm appealing to people, and I know some research is going on. We need to score Ron Paul's $1 trillion of austerity cuts, not in terms of the impact on the deficit, because it's clear this will increase the deficit. You'll have more red ink, not less, because you'll be destroying some of the only economic activity you have, government-centered economic activity, which is just as good, right? When you need dinner, your government cheese is as good as any other kind of cheese, as any fool can tell you. But let's score the Ron Paul austerity program in terms of how many American lives would be lost if we have the destruction of Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, Head Start, WIC, unemployment benefits, and so forth. Now, on the other side, Obama's campaign to lower the Social Security payroll tax again. Watch out for the obvious dirty compromise. It will be a compromise to cut the Social Security payroll tax with nothing else done, so that the future of Social Security will be further undermined and further gouged by Obama. And finally, Occupy Wall Street is getting dispersed. Well, it's what we told you guys. If you don't fight for other groups in the society, how can you fight for them? Where was your program for women, farmers, labor, and other key groups in the society. You never had one. You had your program saying, we get to occupy parks. Yeah, great. And we get to have our General Assembly. Well, take your General Assembly and put it somewhere for the Christmas holidays. We'll be back next week, God willing, here on World Crisis Radio. And in the meantime, ProgressivePress.com, coming soon, The Real Pearl Harbor Conspiracies.